Well, good afternoon. If it's Tuesdays, 12:30 Eastern Time, it's time for Tuesday's Tips with Michael live. Wherever you're seeing this, you're watching live. So, hello. How are we doing? Hoping everyone's having a great week. Today kind of wraps up our personal development time mastery series. Starting next week, we will do a series on leadership skills, and leadership behaviors that leaders need to lead in the 21st century. And I heard you say that, we've heard that over and over again, but trust me, these are sessions you're going to want to check out. If you're a leader, if you're a supervisor, you manage people or lead people, our upcoming series, and it'll be for several weeks, will focus on leadership skills and how important leadership skills are right now with everything that's going on. But today, as we wrap up, we're going to do a session I really like to teach. I do a lot of work with teams. For those of you who know our work, we do a lot of work with intact teams. And one of the things I hear about all the time when I work with teams is how the group wastes time. As a group, how they're managing their time. And a lot of times they're managing it poorly. So how do we as a group manage our time together to make our time together more productive? So that's what we're going to talk about today. I'm going to give you some tips on what we call team time management. So first of all, we all need to agree that we can do more as a group than we can do individually, right? Together we can accomplish more. We just have to be organized when I do it. First and foremost, whether you're in a group of 3 or a group of 10 or a group of 12, first thing, and we talked about this earlier, don't be someone else's interruption. Don't be the person on the team that's always going to talk to somebody, and if you're in the virtual space, pinging them either with a Slack message or a Teams message, you're pounding them all day long. Don't do that. Don't be someone else's interruption. Unless it's really an emergency, let everyone do their own work and then come together and deal with issues. Another tip we give you, and we really give this to team leaders, is make sure you're talking about how the team is managing time management at one of your team meetings. It's very interesting when I facilitate team meetings or I watch teams facilitate their own meetings, they're talking about the work all the time. It's all about the work, the work, the work, the work. They never talk about process. In training terminology, it's always about content. We're always talking about the work to get done. We're not talking about how we're getting the work done. I would add how we are managing our time as a group as part of one of your team meetings. How are you managing time as a group? Are you managing time well? Are you not managing time well at all? So managers and leaders really need to set the pace here. If you're a manager or a leader of a team, you need to set a really good time management example. And how do you do that? Well, first of all, don't be the person that's interrupting everybody. So make a good example there. But one of the big things that you can do not to set the example is start meetings on time and end meetings on time. I cannot tell you how many executives I coach, people I hear from, where their bosses don't start meetings on time. They're always late. It's kind of a culture thing. Get rid of that culture. Start on time, end on time. Many of you know I do a lot of work in the community. I lead committees. I'm a board chairman for a foundation. I'm very respectful of people's time. We start on time. We end on time. We thank people for their time. Again, that's a volunteer situation, but you want to be respectful of people's times. I always suggest to make an agenda. Even for a regular team meeting, make an agenda, even if it's just bullet points in an email. These are the 5 things we need to cover, and this is the time frame we need to cover them in. 10 minutes here, 10 minutes here, 10 minutes there. The meeting's going to be 30 minutes. We're going to start on time. We're going to end on time. We're going to get you back to doing what you got to do. Leave the chitter chatter away. Now, that said, we've talked about interruptions before. People like to be social, even via Zoom and whatnot. That's great. Have a social morning thing, lunch thing, afternoon thing, coffee thing. Hey, we're going to get together for a Zoom coffee at 3:30, 4 o'clock, 15 minutes. We just want to check in with everybody, see how everybody's doing. I know there are a lot of leaders that do that on a regular basis, kind of check in with folks, see what's going on. And that's great. Check-in meetings are great. They have a specific agenda and purpose. The team meeting that's business focused is not a chit-chat meeting. It's a business focused meeting around getting something done. So send that agenda out prior to your meeting and make the meeting productive. Also, it's really good to be a good listener. Really good to be a good listener, especially as a leader or boss. We'll do a session on listening down the line, but it's really important to be a good listener because you can hear from your employees some of their frustrations or some of their ideas or just being positive. So it's really important to respect other people's time. Be a good example for yourself. Be a good example for your team. Make sure you're talking about how you're managing team as a group. And make sure you set up an agenda. Keep to that agenda. Stay focused on the time. So that's going to wrap it up for today. Our Tuesday's tip with Michael Live. Time, teamwork. Be a good team player. Set a good example. Again, starting next week, it's all about leadership development. Leadership skills, leadership behavior starting next Tuesday. Thanks for hanging out with me. If you're watching this post session, thanks for checking it out. Have a great day.